Like usual, my notes are just all over the place on this next record. Let's bring up this great bubblegum classic from Billboard's Hot 100, December 27th, 1969. It peaked at number 10, but on this survey, it's up at number 22. Whoa, baby! It was at 53, moved 5 to 48, and then it hauled up to number 34. It's jumped to 22 the week of December 27th, 1969. It is the Archies with Jingle Jangle. The Archies, I don't even know where to start. There is bubblegum's always been derided. To a lot of people, it's just not serious music. It's not Jazz Joplin. It's not the Amboy Dukes. It's not the Beatles. And yeah, that's true. But there's a place for some of that sweet bubblegum music. The Archies, this is from the album called Jingle Jangle. The album was produced by Jeff Berry. Jeff Berry, along with Ellie Greenwich, they wrote those girl group classics back in 1962, 63, Danny Kiss Me. They also wrote the Dixie Cups, Chapel of Love, and also Ellie Greenwich and Jeff Berry and Shadows Morton, they wrote Leader of the Pack out of Shangri-La's. Also, Be My Baby, they wrote that. Ellie Greenwich and Jeff Berry wrote Be My Baby. Now, on the Archies, Jeff Berry teamed up with Andy Kim, and they wrote the bulk of the Archies records. Their biggest hit, of course, was Sugar Sugar. The first record was Bang Shang-a-Lang, and that was at 68, and then there was Scooby-Doo, that was at 69, and then we get into Sugar Sugar. Let's just move on down the line on this record. The chart positions went to number 10 in the United States, did not chart in England. Sugar Sugar was the only hit by the Archies in England, but it went to number 1 in Canada. Jingle Jangle went to number 1 in Canada for 1 week. Actually, I think it also topped the charts in West Germany, what was then West Germany. Of course, this was back in the Cold War. If I remember correctly, it was number 1 in West Germany, Jingle Jangle, and guess what was number 2 that same week in West Germany? Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. The Archies beating out Led Zeppelin. Now, fancy that. I saw that on the charts years ago, and I was like, my goodness, now that's something right there. That was like when Jimi Hendrix opened for the Monkees. You remember that? Now, that was kind of an odd pairing right there. The song sold 1 million copies. Now, here's the thing about the Archies. Front and center, Ron Dante. He also sang lead on the cufflinks. Ron Dante sang the male parts. He also sang the falsetto parts. This guy was a major talent. He sang those high-end falsetto parts in Jingle Jangle. A woman named Tony Fine, she also sang on this record. She sang on Sugar Sugar. Remember that line, I'm going to make your life so sweet? And Sugar Sugar, that was Tony Fine singing that. Tony Wine, rather. I'm sorry, Tony Wine, that's her name. Tony Wine, she sings in the chorus of Jingle Jangle. Her voice is right there in the chorus. Just a lovely voice. Tony Wine was a major talent. She co-wrote Groovy Kind of Love. You remember the song back in the summer of 69? God, I love this song. I heard it on 60s on 6 last week, and oh, God, it hits the spot all the time. Remember, it was the Sonny Charles and the Checkmates, or just Checkmates LTD, called Black Pearl. Remember that? Written by Tony Wine. She also wrote Candida. She co-wrote that song. She sang back up on Gene Pitney's It Hurts to Be in Love. Oh, God, I didn't know that. I just found that out. It's one of my favorite records, and I'm like, oh, God, what a lovely woman. She also sang back up on Willie Nelson's Always on My Mind. Tony Wine did. The people who contributed background vocals on the Archies records, Jeff Berry, Ellie Greenwich, Bobby Bloom supposedly contributed some background vocals. Bobby Bloom of Montego Bay fame, and also somebody else, Joey Levine, the guy who sang lead on Yummy Yummy, Chewy Chewy, appropriately enough, singing on the Archies records. But here's another thing about this record. One other thing, let's see, I think I covered all the basics here, except for one other thing. This blew me away. I love trivia like this. I die for trivia like this. The deep male part Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Let's get together. Oh, come on. That deep bass part, that was Jeff Berry. No surprise, that guy had a bass voice. Jeff Berry, you might remember the Raindrops back in it was back in the summer or fall of '63. The Boy You Can't Forget. Da 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 da. He sang that lead vocal. Jeff Berry did. It was Jeff Berry and Ellie Greenwich, that project they were doing, the Raindrops. That was Jeff Berry on that deep vocal, and there he is again on the Archies, 7 years later on Jingle Jangle, singing that deep, oh come on, just that deep voice. Isn't that something? Doesn't that just blow you away? Jeff Berry, baby, the producer, the girl group songwriter with Ellie Greenwich. So next time you hear somebody disparage the Archies and say, "Man, this music's just sorry. They're nothing compared to the Beatles." Well, that might be true. That part's probably true, but tell them, hey, you won't believe the talent that went into this group. Tell them about Jeff Berry. Tell them about Ellie Greenwich. Tell them about Tony Wine. Jingle Jangle, number 22, Billboard's Hot 100, December 27th, 1969.